Hacksters! Today in the office we have Kevin Elgan, who is here from Chatterbox, with a Chatterbox in fact.
With the Chatterbox right here.
So this is a cool device that's on Kickstarter right now. And what does it do?
Chatterbox is a smart speaker. It's a build-it-yourself, program-it-yourself smart speaker, kind of like a Amazon Alexa, but we focus on education and privacy.
Cool.
So again, it's Raspberry Pi powered. It comes with a bunch of hardware that kids actually have to build it first to understand how technology works.
And it looks really friendly to the building part as well.
Super friendly. Yeah, it's a cardboard enclosure.
It's a little backwards.
Yeah. With a button on top, and we think that this button solves multiple problems. One, it's private. It's not always listening. So kids actually have to push a button in order to get it to listen. And number two, kids love pushing the button.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I love pushing buttons.
Right.
Yeah.
And my daughter loves pushing my buttons too.
So. So, what's the deal with this thing? Like, what's this interface you have here?
Yeah, so the idea here, we focus on education. And the way we do that is, it's kind of a feature that Chatterbox does nothing once you put it together. You put it together, you turn it on, and it says, "Hi, I'm Chatterbox, ready to learn." And the idea is that kids actually have to teach it skills using kind of our interface. So I can jump in here. So we can see over here, we have this kind of block-based interface here. And we've kind of reduced making skills and voice skills to kind of listen, speak, understand, and action. And all of these blocks represent simple things. When I hear hello, we want Chatterbox to say, "Hello, I'm Chatterbox." So I've already created this, but we can just do it and then.
Yeah.
Hello. And then you can see.
"Hello, I'm Chatterbox."
There we go. It speaks. So we could actually, making it say something else is as simple as just typing it in. "Hello, world. How are you?" And then we can actually save this. And then when we do that, it says skill created. And then we can try it. Hello.
"Hello, world. How are you?"
That's so cute.
And so it's a little bit slow random because it's running off my hotspot, but on a regular kind of internet connection, it wouldn't be that slow.
Baller.
But the idea is that they can just teach it how to just respond back to them, how to get the weather, how to communicate with their parents, turn on lights. There's really anything.
How does it communicate with their parents?
So we've actually integrated with communication services. So the whole idea behind Chatterbox is that, 2.5 years ago, my daughter was born. And I started thinking about how there's Alexa and these smart assistants like in the home.
Yeah.
And really a lot of kids didn't know that Alexa was not a person, right? They didn't think, and this is another big question, which is, should kids say please and thank you to these devices, right? And so that's something that I started thinking about, and I'm like, well, what is the best way to kind of demystify these devices? Well, get them to build it, and then get them to teach it. And so, so talking to parents, I was asking them, what was kind of the reason that you got your kids like a phone like at a young age? And a lot of parents said, well, we don't have a landline. We only have cell phones. So that's something that we don't really kind of think about. And so I thought, oh, well, maybe we could, integrate with some communication services, So I believe we're using Twilio right now, but I don't know if that's going to be kind of the final, but that's kind of the service that we integrate with right now to allow kids to, say, hey, call mom or text mom and dad that I got home.
Are you using the Twilio SIM? Or is it like a...
No. The API. So
it goes all through Wi-Fi.
Everything is Wi-Fi. Yeah. Everything is Wi-Fi. So, the idea is, can we get kids to create real things, using real services? So, instead of, I'm trying to kind of lower the bar for kids to get into this entire world of making.
Yeah.
Right. Before, if you're going to do anything with a Raspberry Pi, you have to know Python. It's a little bit hard, and so. It's hard for kids, and so I just wanted to kind of make it much easier for them.
But also with the privacy factor,
with the privacy factor, exactly, and really just focusing on the interaction, right? Instead of it's programming at a higher level, but they're not really focusing on syntax and code.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, on the privacy level,
Mhm.
you know, new versions of Raspberry Pi, they have a few extra privacy things, like they prompt you to change the password and stuff. Do people who are building the kit go through the whole setup process, or do you like provide an SD card with?
Yeah, so we have an SD card that's going to ship with the kit, and then in that process, we're gonna step them through. But what's pretty cool about it is it's all voice driven. So it's going to say, hey, connect to me by going to this address, and then they'll go through that, and then we can kind of walk them through
That's awesome.
the onboarding experience. And it's really cool because it's you have like a Raspberry Pi essentially talking to you, talking you through everything.
Which, honestly, getting the Raspberry Pi to do audio talking to you is a huge pain.
Oh, it's hard.
So what kind of iterations have you gone through? You have this other thing over here that's like a sort of a dual dongle thingy. Hi, everyone. It's like...
So audio on a Raspberry Pi has always been, or at least for us, has been a little bit difficult. And because it is a speaker, we wanted it to be able to listen well. And not just like a USB mic. We wanted kind of a better microphone experience. And then we also wanted a better audio out experience. And the audio from the jack is, there's a lot of static and it just wasn't, And so we created kind of a kind of hat, bonnet, whatever you want to call it, for the Raspberry Pi. And it really just has this is our early version and not very pretty. I did it.
It's a prototype. It's sweet.
It's a prototype. It's a prototype.
It's a very nice prototype.
But I was wondering, what if we had two modular mics that would act as ears for the Chatterbox? And then on it, it's super simple. It just has a connection for a pass-through for the GPIO pins for the button LED, and also a speaker amp.
Cool.
Right? So just to connect a speaker. And so that was an early version. We've made it a little bit prettier now with kind of a single board.
We love blue.
I love blue too, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we went through that to kind of create a better audio experience for kids. We don't have kind of fancy technology in there. I see a matrix, matrix board right here, which all of this stuff is great. But I wanted to keep this like very simple and very accessible for kids. So it's Raspberry Pi. It's this simple board that we make, and then a button, that clicks. This is just a big arcade button. We call it. It's actually going to ship with a yellow one, so it's the big yellow button. And really keep it simple for kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we wanted to just speak and listen. That's really it.
Very friendly. And presumably, like, if you had the materials, you could sort of laser cut this yourself and stuff, right? You
can, yeah. And we're actually talking to schools right now to see if this is something that they would want to do on their own, with their students, and if they have materials. I also love cardboard. I'm a huge Nintendo Labo fan.
Yeah.
And cardboard is just it's a real material.
And it kind of reminds me. I've sort of cannibalized most of this.
Google AI.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of this, but much cuter for one thing. And also much more friendly. Like it's got little feet. It even got toes. This does not have toes.
So we've been inspired by a whole bunch of different projects, right? So Google AI is a great one. That's they just it's essentially the hat. That's where kind of our hardware is inspired by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it comes with a speaker and everything, but it's locked down to Google Assistant. Right. Which isn't necessarily kids can use it, but they can't teach it, right? And teaching it is actually, you can, but it's hard.
I've done it. Yeah, it's really hard.
It's not the easiest thing. So again, we're going back to, rethink what this experience should be for kids. So Google AI is great for that. Another one that we've that we're actually powered by is Mycroft. I don't know if you're familiar with Mycroft.
Yeah, Mycroft is cool. It's sort of like Snips in that it's like a privacy-focused voice AI assistant.
Yeah, they're trying to be kind of the other option to, Alexa and Google Assistant. It's open, it's customizable, it's fantastic. So I've been in contact with the team over there, and they've been huge supporters of us. My partner and I, my partner's based out of Portugal, but the two of us are big members of the community there. They actually just sent me a coin, a challenge coin,
Ooh.
for being a community member, which
Oh,
is
that's cool.
really awesome. But they're really a great company, and what they're doing is just an open source assistant stack. And so I love the idea of it, and I just wanted to make that even simpler for kids. And so that's why we are using Google Blockly, which is also open source, as our front end for
I
like
didn't
skill
realize that
design.
was Google now.
That's Google Blockly,
Oh.
yeah, which is
Did
now
they develop that in-house or they...
Google Blockly. I believe they did it in-house, but Scratch, if you're familiar with Scratch, uses Google Blockly now. So
interesting.
it's kind of this collaboration between the two of them. And I was at the Blockly Summit and spoke to both teams. So
Cool.
yeah, but
They're friends. That's cool.
exactly. I just feel like this open source community is amazing, right? And it's just a little bit hard for kids. And I just want to take all of this open source and like bring it down to the level of kids, make it like more accessible for everybody.
Yeah, and again, obviously the focus on privacy, especially when you're like sharing stuff with kids. The idea is to like you can popularize IoT, but you definitely need to like at the start have that mind of security and privacy.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we're just getting kids to think about it. That's it. Just think about it. What happens when something is, if you know how to make skills and if you know that this assistant is listening to you, okay, you're going to think about it a little bit more and you might start to wonder, hey, I wonder what happens when this happens. Or, it's just that awareness is what we're trying to drive.
So, in the interest of curiosity,
sure.
And our audience being sort of hardware nerds, what are the sort of changes that you made? Clearly, you sort of put the microphones onto this little boom sort of setup here, and you've got this simple plug-in now. Is there a cable that goes between these two modules?
There is a cable. I unfortunately don't have it with me right now. But yeah, we started off with the modular mics just because what if we wanted to place it, in different areas, or if we wanted kids to, take off the head of Chatterbox and just create their own thing, it would give them a little more freedom. But then you're just managing two different mics. So it was just easier to put them on a single kind of board there, and also just simpler for manufacturing as well.
Man, I can imagine the day. You know how Bluetooth Low Energy now has this mesh capability? Mm-hmm. I was just picturing like a Mr. Potato Head where you could pull off the mics and stuff and like pull apart the mouth and like the eyes and whatever and like rearrange them and it would still do the little audio stuff.
Right, and that's actually kind of the future for what I have imagined for Chatterbox is that Chatterbox is kind of just the beginning. It's kind of the brains. It gets kids to understand if this then that. That's really at the core of every interaction. And once we do that, then we can start integrating sensors. And what if we have connected light bulbs in the room that they can already connect that? But what if we add like a contact sensor for their door? So every time the door opens, the lights come on automatically if it's after a certain time. So
like turn on a nightlight or whatever.
Exactly.
You mentioned that if this then that concept. Mm-hmm. Do you actually have an integration with if this and that?
We don't. Oh. We actually built it ourselves. And so we have this idea of kind of triggers. So which is essentially what if this and that is. It's triggers. So we have triggers currently. We're working on something for today and we can make it happen. But for example, time triggers. So every 15 minutes or every day or every day at this time or every month or every year, we can have it say something or carry out actions.
That's something that I've always wanted in Alexa, but has never existed.
So Chaim Gardenberg from The Verge actually was just wrote about this last week.
Oh, man,
and he's like, smart speakers have timers, they can control lights, but they can't do that on a trigger.
Yeah.
And so essentially he was saying, I want to be able to tell Alexa, turn off the lights in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? You can't do that right now. You could actually do it with Chatterbox.
You can't have her like wake you up with something with like the news or something.
Exactly. Yeah. And so you could do that with Chatterbox again. And that's why we had these time triggers because we get kids to like think in these like small little steps. These kind of like iterative steps. So that's in there. What we were working on for today, which I'm sorry wasn't available, but was a Twitter integration. So if somebody mentions, Hackster or Hello Chatterbox, then it would just speak every single time.
That's so cool.
And so again, getting kids, if it's going to rain tomorrow, we have weather triggers as well. So if rain is on the forecast, then it'll say, oh, don't forget an umbrella today.
Oh, that'd be so nice.
Yeah, so all kinds of stuff. But, really, it's just every Chatterbox is going to be unique because kids are going to make it unique in the way it talks, in the way it responds, the personality or lack of personality, everything.
And they're so good at that.
Yeah.
I predict a lot of a lot of bots that just tell really cheesy jokes over and over and over again.
So we've had that. We're testing in schools, and we've had a lot of kids just jokes. In a 1 hour period of testing, we had I want to say over 40 or 50 skills made by kids.
Cool.
And this is on their first kind of interaction with Chatterbox.
That's really
it's pretty
cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. And what kind of stuff did they do?
Jokes. We had kind of like the ghost of Abraham Lincoln, so historical figures. So they're learning about historical figures, and they created a skill. Hey, let me talk to the ghost of Abraham Lincoln, and then you could actually ask questions, and it answers in a different voice. On I was born on this day. I don't know. I'm not very good with that. But yeah, they were able to do a whole bunch of fun stuff.
How do you change the voice?
Yeah, so we actually in the speak category, you can say speak with voice.
Oh, cool.
And I'll just do a quick fun one. So when I hear like, I'm a Star Wars fan, so about like R2-D2. And then we are going to speak with droid. These are all the voices that you can see in there. And we have this handy little...
Oh, it just switches modes. Oh, that's so cool.
It just switches modes, exactly. And we have this this variable called utterance remainder. And essentially what that means, think math with words. When I say hello like R2-D2, it's going to say hello like R2-D2 and subtract the like R2-D2. And then we can just save this.
That's so cool. Oh, and you can change the wake word really easily.
Say hello like R2-D2.
Hello world, how are you?
So it's actually getting this one right here. So we're having a utterance collision. And then we'll see this. Say hello like R2-D2. So there it is. It just took kind of what I said and then translated it into droid speak. And that first one...
You have specific sounds for each letter?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's kind of like our Morse code.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
and same basic principle, and we just like stitch it together, for kids on the fly. But that first part where it just said hello, it was actually hitting. It was understanding the different skill that I created earlier, which was that hello world type skill. So again, that is a lesson for kids. You can't just use the same words for every single skill.
And it really hits at home. It's a robot. Like it's not gonna act like something that thinks.
And it exactly, and it really focuses on communication. When you say, hey, what's the weather? You don't want the weather in Tokyo. You want the local weather. So we really get kids to focus on the words and focus on communication.
No, you mentioned the whole thing of where people are debating like whether they could teach kids to say please and thank you to Alexa. I'm guessing, is there a way that you could modify this one to require please and thank you, or?
You can. You absolutely can. I don't know if I have the skill here.
And I know that, again, that's sort of like a sort of distinction between robot and human thing you're emphasizing.
Right. But again, we're not trying to dictate that. Yeah. Right? We're trying to give kids choice.
Yeah.
Right? So if they want... here it is, actually. So this is a little more advanced than just to say... but you could actually see this here. And... this is called passive manners. Instead of requiring please or requiring, thank you, you could actually see it's going to consume the utterance and then test. If it hears please, then it's going to say, I like it when you say please. It's just going to respond and then carry out the task. So I'm going to use this test down here. Test please. Of course, it doesn't work. Oh, actually, you know what? I turned this off. Consume audio. returns to true. There
It's
it is.
interesting that you have this intercept option to like sort of set flags.
Right. Test, please. And then it responds.
I like it when you say please.
The voice is very natural. It's impressive.
Yeah. So we actually integrate with a whole bunch of, everything is modular about this. So kids don't like the voice, they can change the voice. We've integrated with a whole bunch of different, text-to-speech engines, so kids have choice. We believe in choice. That's really what it is. Everybody wants lock-in, for the platform. We want choice.
Especially for kids. People are like, you have to make it simple, you have to make it all in one, you have to make it self-contained.
Yeah.
And basically this little walled garden of like, so that they'll understand it. But kids will totally pick up on whatever you give them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I see this Python tab. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So this is the same thing that's in the. You sound like you have.
So that is so this is my side. But yeah, we built a library essentially between Python and kind of and this Blockly kind of interface, and so that's part of it. That isn't quite ready for prime time yet, but and then also like XML. This is for our testing purposes, but essentially you can just share the XML between different accounts or whatever. But that's just gonna be part of kind of a share feature.
It does look like a really cool option to have, and like it fits in really well with the interface so far.
Yeah.
So you are live on Kickstarter right now.
We are live on Kickstarter right now.
You've got a bit over a month to go, especially because this is going to go live on Friday. So obviously you're looking for people to. Oh, congrats! You are almost 4 times over your funding. That's fantastic.
Almost. The next one we're going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
we're going to cross the 400.
Probably by Friday. And you can get 1 Chatterbox. You can get a couple of them for siblings. And you can get a classroom bundle as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we focus on education. I've been in education for a long time with my previous companies, and I just love schools, and I love. I feel that's the best way you can really make an impact with kids, and so that's why we've been working with schools. So. In a classroom, we're doing like curriculum integration for teachers to make it easy. And my dream is, can we get 5th graders to create skills to teach the 3rd graders?
Oh my God, yes!
Get the 3rd graders to create skills to teach the 1st graders or kindergartners.
Oh, that's so cool!
And what's amazing, something that I kind of stumbled on, is that the younger kids can actually use this as well. My daughter, her name is Alex as well, but she. She loves the song from Moana, and keeps on asking us. Like we have Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant, and
I remember the story from the fair.
and so she kept on asking me and my wife to play the song. Can you tell Alexa? And she's just trying to talk to Alexa, and it just doesn't understand her. And so finally, I was like, okay, I built her a Chatterbox. I was like, this is your Chatterbox. Push a button and then say, play Moana. And she pushed a button. She said, play Moana. And it would play Moana. And it would just blow her mind. But it only worked like 30% of the time. And then I realized, okay, well, the other 70%, it heard play marijuana. And then I'm like, well, I can customize this. So now I built a skill for when it hears play Moana or play marijuana, it plays the Moana song, and she just absolutely loves it. So now she just has free reign. She can turn on our lights. She can play whatever song she wants. It's really amazing. That was completely unintended.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It shows that, limiting the features actually expands kind of, the populations that can work with it.
That is so cool.
This is Chatterbox. You can check out our website. It's hellochatterbox.com. Follow us on social.
I haven't checked that out yet. Oh, nope. Wrong.
Ooh, you use DuckDuckGo. I love that. That's actually our search provider.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, on Chatterbox.
Privacy. Yeah, cool. So everyone check out the website. Do you have Twitter and or?
Yeah, at Hello Chatterbox on the Twitter.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
I put out a blog post every single week on kind of the ethos behind Chatterbox and kind of our mission, and try to put out some like thought pieces there to get people to think about the technology that we expose kids to.
Fantastic. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you, Kevin, for coming in. This is fantastic. I hope you get all the dollars and support all the classrooms and stuff. Cheers.
Thank you.